Hi, this is Nintendo. This is a tutorial about how to edit the colors on my Halo 3 mod, Brute Revamp. So let's take a look. Here's the Brutes. I've got the Major and the Captain here. And I chose these colors, but they're totally customizable. So if you want to use these Brutes in your mod, you can make them whatever color you want. So the normal way to do that is in the biped tag. So most of you are probably familiar with that. If we want to say make the Major be green for primary and blue for secondary. Then for the Captain, let's make his secondary be gold. And his primary can be purple. Now, if we save, unfortunately, we can see that it didn't have much effect. The reason is that these guys are using spec tint maps for the majority of their coloring. The color in the biped tag does have a very small effect. So if we zoom in, for example, on his helmet, and we go back to the Major. So primary color. When it is white, then that will have no effect on the spec tint map at all. It'll be totally neutral. So setting it to white is a safe bet. But the colors will be a little bit washed out. If we change it to be a similar or same color to his spec tint map, then the color will be a little bit richer, but it is subtle. So let's go ahead and set that back to green. And I'm going to show us how to edit that spec tint map and make these guys the colors we want to. So in the Brute Textures folder, that's in the Nexus mods download, you'll find different folders and different texture files. One that we're going to use is Brute Colors. We can just take colors from the different ranks. So like this one is the Minor, Primary, and Secondary, Major, Primary, Secondary, Captain, Warrior, Chieftain, Stalker. So that's useful. But the first file we're going to be editing is in Armor, Armor Color Change and Spec Tint. Then we'll go ahead and open Armor Color Change PDN. So we use this for editing both the color change map and the spec tint maps. So let's see. We're not editing color change, so we don't need this red as our primary. And here you can see I've got each rank's color. So we can go ahead and go down to Major, but we're going to be changing that to green. So let's get a nice kind of turquoisey green, and we can put that on this layer. All right. Then for the secondary color, let's go ahead and make it black and white so it's easier to look at. And we can put on recolor. Let's make our brush size nice and big. And we're going to make it blue. All right. You can see the thigh area up in the corner is a little bit different, so we're going to have to do that separately. Black and white, and there we go. So that is the spec tint map. And so that just puts specular highlights of that color onto that part of the armor. We're almost done, but there's a couple things that we have to switch over. So anything labeled as color change, we'll turn that off, and anything labeled as spec tint, we'll turn that on. So these goes off, and these go on, and it should be ready to go. So If we want to see how that looks in-game, first we can go ahead and flatten the image and save as. And we're going to go ahead and put that into Brute Revamp v3 data. And we're going to name it. We're going to first set it to be a TIFF and have it be armor spectint.tiff. Save. Now, if we go into Gorilla and re-import this bitmap, I've already got armor spectint bitmap open. Re-import. We can see that those colors have taken effect. That's a bit bright. But the problem is that it's changed both of the ranks. And so what we need to do is we're going to use tool to import multiple spectint maps into a single bitmap tag so that each rank can have their own colors. So how do we do that? So we're going to go ahead and save this into the armor spectint folder. And so we can save this over the majors spectint map, that's 01. You can see each rank has their own. And we'll save it. Replace. Okay. And now we're going to go back to where it's not flattened anymore, and let's change the colors for the captain. So we wanted him to be purple. Let's see, that's a pretty good purple. And we're going to put that there. And then for the secondary, let's make it black and white again. I feel like the color change tool works better when it's black and white. And we're going to have that be gold. So let's see. Let's go ahead and take the gold from here. So we'll eyedropper the color from the chieftain. And we can put that here. Black and white. There we go. All right, so this is ready to go. So let's save as. And go to TIFF and save it over this one. I forgot to flatten it, but it'll flatten it for us. So flatten. And then we're good to go. So now we've got these multiple texture files in a folder. And we're going to use a command in Tool, this one, Tool import bitmap folder as single tag, and then the path to that tag. So let's copy that. Open a command window and paste the tag, or paste the command in. So 6 bitmaps have been imported as a specular map. And if we look, now each one is using its own color. So that is how we import multiple texture files into a single bitmap. Now that's affected just their armor. You can see that they still have their original colors on the metal on their body and on their hands. So to quickly go ahead and fix that, it doesn't take a lot of time once you know what you're doing. We can go in here. This is the metal spectint. And let's go ahead and change the color. So since we got purple here already, we can just take that. Put that there. We can take the gold. Oop, wrong layer. Down to secondary. There we go. And let's go ahead and flatten, save as. Data. and metal spectant. TIFF. Let's see. Let's view it as icons so we can see it better. There we go. So we'll save it over this one. Yep. Okay. Now we got these colors. Let's take the green. And we'll put that over the primary. Then we'll take the blue, put that over the secondary. All right, flatten it down. And save it over this one. Okay. The final one to do is the Brute Body Special, and that's the metal on their hand. So let's go up to Primary New, and we'll just change the colors to their primary colors. So we can copy this green, put it in there. Other things don't really matter since they only use the part on their hand. We can flatten, save as. Metal Special Spectant. Save over the major. And then we go to that purple. Looks like I've lost the purple. I didn't save it. So let's open up one of those so we can get that purple. All right, there's the purple again. Copy it. And there we go. Flatten. Save over this one. All right. And now the textures are done. So we're going to edit this to first do metal spectant. And we'll import all of those. Let's move this so we can see what's going on. And now these have changed. And the final piece of the puzzle, metal special spectant. Let's zoom in on the hand to see what's going on with these hands. There we go. So these guys have been fully converted over to their new colors. So that's basically how you do it. These colors are a bit bright for my taste, but yeah, of course you can edit them to be whatever kind of colors you want. So I really look forward to seeing what you guys make with these guys. I worked really hard on them for a long time, and I would really love to see them used in other mods. So good luck, and see you later.